Hi folks, and welcome back to Travels with Paddles. My name's James, and today we're in Exeter to paddle the Exeter Lower Loop. Here's a map of the route, and total distance was 7.3 miles. I always find there's something distinctly satisfying about paddling a circular route. I guess it's the fact there's no car shuttle required, and unlike an out and back paddle, you get new scenery all the way around. Today we're launching from the Waterworks Access Road, which is literally all that separates the River Exe from the Exeter Ship Canal. There's no official parking on the access road, so once you've dropped your boats off, it's best to drive up to Countess Weir car park just off Bridge Road, and then it's a few minutes walk back to the start of the paddle. Just a word of caution here. The discharge pipe from the waterworks is just next to the right hand bank as you travel down river. As we paddled past, we could clearly see some ominous brown bubbles boiling up through the water. There was also a distinct brown scum on the surface of the water. I would strongly advise for the next mile or so to paddle low angle with small strokes to avoid splashing yourself, and certainly avoid going in the water at all. The tide was falling, so the plan was to paddle down the river and then back up the canal. If the tide was rising, you could obviously do it the other way around, paddle down the canal and then back up the river. At this point, there are lots of moored boats, so you need to weave your way amongst them. After about a mile and a half, you reach the disused Topsham Lock. If you were looking for a particularly short paddle, you could actually use the stairs to the left of the lock to get out and portage up onto the canal, and then head straight back to the start. On the left bank is the village of Topsham. It's difficult to see on the video, but there was a helicopter passing by, so Hannah decided to say hello. Once you're past Topsham, the river widens quite significantly, and it becomes particularly important that you follow the line of marker buoys and the main channel, especially if the tide is falling. That's because outside of the main channel, there are large mudflats that are revealed at low water. The last thing you want to do is end up stuck on those for a few hours until the tide rises again to lift you off. Travelling downriver, the channel takes a hard right turn towards the west bank, and soon you come across a prominent jetty. We're going to get out of the river here in a minute, but first we thought we'd explore the area a little bit more. This is Exeter Lock that marks the end of the ship canal. We turned south again to follow the main channel and paddled an extra mile or so, just to add distance to our trip. You can see that as the tide recedes, it reveals the mudflats. This is where we turned round to head back to Exeter Lock. You can actually see the brown scum layer here that we've been paddling with for the past few miles. It's a bit of a portage along the jetty and up to the canal, so if you've got wheels, it's worth taking them with you. Handily, there were lots of picnic benches next to the Turf Hotel, so we stopped for lunch. If you go just past the hotel, there's a jetty that you can launch into the canal from. It was definitely nicer to be paddling through weeds than the brown stuff we'd been paddling in before. There's no current on the canal, so it's a nice, easy, relaxed paddle to go back to the start. That is, until you get to some weeds that are so thick it's actually quite difficult to push through them. At this point, they were surprisingly dense, but we kept pushing through. Then, just as suddenly as they'd started, they ended and the water was clear again. Nice to see a few others enjoying the water too. This is the view of the now permanently closed Topsham lock from the canal side. Uh-oh, more thick weeds. Once you reach the M5 bridge, you've got about a mile left to go. This old boat has definitely seen better days, but I hope someone's going to put it back together. It looks like they might be. Perhaps not too surprisingly, there was a lot more wildlife on the canal than there was on the river. Here's the waterworks again, so we're almost done. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. The Exeter Lower Loop is definitely a fun paddle that we're going to add to our repertoire. Please do like and subscribe, and until next time, stay safe on the water.